Okay, we talked about the elite teams. Let's talk about the surprise teams who really had kind of a unique season that we never expected. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, we got to go to Detroit. I mean, this is a team that has been in the tank, in the gutter for decades, and they had a special year.
Dan Campbell, when he took the job, really mouthy at his introductory press conference. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to punch you in the mouth, etc. I thought, oh my God. And it didn't have any players. And yet he was making all these pronouncements. Well, in a 3-year span of drafts, he and that organization have really built this thing. And they built it with the defensive front, and then they built it with the offensive line. And then they went out and made kind of the weird trade, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, but they got draft picks as a bonus. I think the intangible thing is Campbell and his staff taught Jared Goff where to put the ball, where not to put the ball. He was an interception machine with the Rams, turnovers. He's gotten progressively better and better to the point now you trust him, and now he's making plays. By the way, did he make a few plays at Lambeau Field on Sunday in the final game against Green Bay? Yeah. So Detroit is just a really rugged, young football team, and they've drafted offensive linemen. They've drafted defensive linemen. They've built the secondary. They didn't have a real good defense at the first half of the season, and coach them up. They got progressively better, and better, and almost made the playoffs. So, I know there's not a lot of conversation about, well, give out a participation trophy. At the end of the day, they got really close to making the playoffs. And think of where they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and how bad it's been. So he's done a heck of a job.
Yeah, and they're just a lot of fun to watch, So good on Detroit to finally have something to be excited about. So next year should be great for them.
Okay, next team. These guys did get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about a turnaround. You and I talked in one of our first podcasts about the disaster that was Jacksonville, that was Urban Meyer, that the ownership made a horrific series of mistakes, that they got rid of a whole pile of players they signed that thought were going to lead them back. Jacksonville has arrived. Doug Pederson has taken that thing and step by step has gotten progressively better to the point now Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback, the kid from Clemson, just a second-year player, is not a beat-up, beaten-down rookie who's been overwhelmed. He's gotten better and better, and he's making plays down the field. And they've survived injuries in the offensive front. The key to their turnabout is not just the quarterback from Clemson. The key to their turnabout is that defensive front. They're not the 49ers in terms of physicality, but they're close. Jonathan Allen and the top pick last year, Travion Walker. And they got athletes who can run, and they got guys in the secondary that have grown into the job. They've got a kid from the University of San Diego, which is kind of the equivalent of Division III football, Jamal Agnew. He's a really good football player. Was a corner. They converted him to a wide guy, a kick return guy. He's pretty impressive. And Doug Pederson, smart guy, creative genius, X and O's guy, quarterback, develop him. What a job he did with Trevor Lawrence. And Jacksonville's in the playoffs. Who could have imagined that? And the Chargers have to go play the Jaguars in Jayville next Saturday night on a short work week. And Jacksonville's earned this.
Yeah, it's an interesting storyline because this is a team that maybe people suspected might be one of the teams to move to London or the franchise might go somewhere else. They have been in the tank like the Lions for so long. When I think of the Jaguars, I think of, what was it, Mark Brunell? Was he the quarterback back
in the day when they had some good teams early on under Tom Coughlin? Yes, you're very correct.
Yeah, and so I thought they were good then, and then they just sort of faded away. Nice to see that franchise come back, and it's great to see Trevor Lawrence really do well.
Isn't it amazing? 1 year removed from Urban Meyer, where they are and what they've become under a veteran coach with experience.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, the other